There is an idea, often repeated in the world, that in order to live a truly worthwhile life, we must be concerned primarily with the welfare of others. And while this is indeed a noble pursuit, it often overlooks the most fundamental truth of human existence, the necessity of first attending to our own well-being. In our haste to give ourselves away to help, to nurture, to make a difference in the lives of others, we often forget that we cannot offer what we do not have. It is a curious paradox. In order to truly help others, we must first help ourselves. In life, there comes a point where we must pause and reflect on a powerful truth: we cannot pour from an empty cup. This simple yet profound idea is often overlooked in the hustle and bustle of daily life. We live in a world that constantly demands more from us, that encourages us to give, to serve, to help. But how many of us truly stop to consider the cost of that giving? How many of us take the time to replenish the very energy, passion, and love that we so willingly offer to others? In the pursuit of success, it is easy to lose sight of one crucial fact: true fulfillment does not come from external achievements or the constant striving to meet others' expectations. It comes from within. It comes from knowing yourself, from nurturing your body, mind, and spirit, from dedicating time to personal growth and self-awareness. The world might tell us to be busy, to be productive, to never stop moving, but let us not forget that true growth starts with an understanding of who we are, and where we are willing to go. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. This quote speaks not to the material wealth we accumulate, but to the richness of life that comes when we focus on our own well-being and cultivate peace within ourselves. To truly focus on yourself is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of strength. Self-focus allows you to live authentically, to pursue your deepest passions, and to become the person you were meant to be. Yet so many people shy away from this concept, thinking that focusing on themselves is an indulgence or a form of neglect. The truth is that without the ability to care for oneself, it becomes impossible to offer something meaningful to others. If we are drained, depleted, or out of touch with our own desires and needs, how can we serve those around us in the best way possible? You cannot swim for new horizons until you have courage to lose sight of the shore. This means letting go of old habits, limiting beliefs, and the expectation that we must always be putting others first. When we have the courage to focus on ourselves, we open up the possibility of creating the life we truly desire. Self-care is an essential part of personal growth. It is not merely about indulging in comfort or pleasure, it is about caring for the very core of your being. Too often we neglect our own needs in favor of others' demands. We forget that to be truly effective, to truly give of ourselves in a meaningful way, we must first take time to recharge. Taking care of yourself is part of taking care of others. When we make self-care a priority, we strengthen our physical, mental, and emotional health, which then allows us to serve others from a place of abundance, not scarcity. We become more grounded, more focused, and more present in our relationships and our work. We begin to see that true giving comes not from empty sacrifice, but from a place of personal fulfillment and balance. Self-awareness is another key component in the journey of focusing on yourself. The more we understand about ourselves, our strengths, our weaknesses, our desires, our fears, the better equipped we are to make decisions that align with our true values. We live in a world that is full of distractions and noise, and it is easy to get lost in the external forces that pull us in every direction. Yet, in the quiet moments when we reflect on who we are and what we truly want, we gain the clarity and direction that allow us to move forward with purpose. Knowing others is intelligence, knowing yourself is true wisdom. This quote from Lao Tzu emphasizes the importance of self-knowledge. When we focus on ourselves, we gain the insights needed to navigate life's challenges and opportunities with wisdom and confidence. It is often said that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. This speaks to the influence of our environment on our personal development. If we surround ourselves with negative influences, people who drain our energy or lead us astray, it becomes increasingly difficult to focus on ourselves in a healthy way. On the other hand, when we spend time with people who uplift us, challenge us, and inspire us to grow, we create a positive feedback loop that encourages our own self-improvement. The people we surround ourselves with are a reflection of our own mindset and priorities. By choosing relationships that support our growth, we begin to create a life that reflects the person we truly want to be. The process of focusing on yourself also requires us to embrace the concept of self-compassion. So often we are our own harshest critics. We hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, berate ourselves for mistakes, and fail to acknowledge our own progress. But growth does not happen in an environment of constant self-criticism. It happens when we allow ourselves the grace to stumble, to learn, and to improve. You are imperfect, permanently and inevitably flawed, and you are beautiful. This powerful statement reminds us that we are worthy of love and acceptance, not because we are perfect, but because we are human. By practicing self-compassion, we begin to create the emotional space needed for healing, growth, and personal development. We allow ourselves to take risks, to make mistakes, and to try again without judgment or fear of failure. There is a saying that the longest journey is the journey inward. Focusing on yourself can often feel like an arduous and sometimes uncomfortable journey. It requires us to face the parts of ourselves that we may have ignored, hidden, or been ashamed of. Yet it is through this process of self-discovery that we unlock our true potential. When we focus on ourselves, we shed the layers of doubt, fear, and uncertainty that hold us back, and we uncover the strength, resilience, and beauty that lie within. The journey of focusing on yourself is a lifelong process. It is not a one-time event, but rather an ongoing commitment to your own growth and well-being. It requires courage, patience, and dedication. But the rewards are immeasurable. By focusing on yourself, you begin to uncover the fullness of who you are, and in doing so, you unlock the ability to live a life that is deeply aligned with your true purpose and values. So take a moment today to pause and reflect on your own needs. Take the time to nurture yourself, to care for your mind, body, and spirit. In doing so, you will not only become the best version of yourself, but you will also have the energy and clarity to serve the world in the most meaningful way possible. Remember, you are worthy of this attention, and by focusing on yourself, you give yourself the greatest gift of all, the opportunity to become the person you were always meant to be. In life, we often find ourselves caught in a whirlwind of expectations, demands, and responsibilities. The world tells us to do more, to be more, to keep up with the pace of progress. But in the midst of all this noise, there's one essential truth that many overlook. The most important thing you can do is to take care of yourself. As the saying goes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. This is not just a metaphor, but a profound reminder that self-care is the foundation upon which all else is built. Self-care is not a luxury, nor is it a sign of weakness. It is, in fact, an act of strength and wisdom. Self-care is giving the world the best of you, instead of what's left of you. When we care for ourselves physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, we build the strength and resilience necessary to navigate life's challenges. It's through self-care that we recharge, restore balance, and reconnect with our true purpose. Only when we're in a place of wellness can we give fully to others, contribute meaningfully to the world, and show up as our best selves. Think about it for a moment. How often do we put others' needs before our own, believing that this is the key to happiness? We sacrifice our well-being for the sake of productivity, social approval, or the pursuit of success. But true success, in its deepest form, is found in the harmony of self-care and self-compassion. You owe yourself the love that you so freely give to other people. We often forget to extend kindness and understanding to ourselves that we so readily offer to others. This is where the transformation begins. By prioritizing our own needs, we give ourselves permission to thrive, not just survive. In this fast-paced world, it's easy to get lost in the chaos. We think that busyness equals success, that if we're constantly moving, we're progressing. But in reality, true progress happens when we stop, reflect, and care for ourselves. Sometimes you have to take a break and rest. Not to quit, but to recharge. Rest isn't a sign of failure, it's a powerful act of self-respect. When we rest, we give ourselves the time and space needed to rejuvenate, to find clarity, and to reconnect with our goals and desires. Without this, we risk burnout, exhaustion, and losing sight of what truly matters. Taking care of yourself also means setting boundaries. The world will always demand more from you, but only you can decide how much you're willing to give. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates to protect the things you value. When we set boundaries, we protect our time, our energy, and our emotional health. We create the space necessary for growth, healing, and fulfillment. Without boundaries, we become drained and disoriented, lost in the noise of everyone else's needs. That when we honor our limits, we regain our strength and find the clarity to move forward with purpose. So, if you want to live a meaningful, fulfilling life, start by focusing on yourself. Invest in your well-being. Recognize that you deserve to take care of your body, mind, and spirit. As you do, you'll find that the more you nurture yourself, the more you can give. The more you honor your needs, the more you can serve others with an open heart and a clear mind. Remember, self-care is not selfish, it is a prerequisite for living a truly impactful and fulfilling life. As you focus on yourself, you unlock your greatest potential, and that is the best gift you can offer to the world. There's a powerful truth that we must all come to terms with. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. It sounds simple, almost cliché, but the more we reflect on it, the more profound it becomes. In a world that constantly pushes us to focus on external things, on what we achieve, on how we are seen, on what we can do for others, this idea of safety, of self-awareness gets lost. But let me remind you of a timeless truth. If you do not know yourself, how can you ever truly know the world around you? If you do not understand who you are, how can you be confident in where you are going? Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, as the great philosopher Aristotle once said. This is the foundation upon which everything else in life must be built. To live a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment, we must first begin with a deep understanding of who we are. So often we are caught up in the roles, we play the labels that the world gives us. We define ourselves by our jobs, by our relationships, by the things we accomplish. But when the noise of external expectations fades away, what remains? Who are you really? Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it, Rumi once wrote. This, too, applies to self-awareness. Our task is not to search for something we do not have, but to remove the barriers that keep us from seeing the truth of who we already are. Self-awareness is not about achieving perfection. It's not about having all the answers or being free from doubt or struggle. It's about recognizing where you are right now, acknowledging your strengths, your weaknesses, your hopes, and your fears, and understanding that this awareness is the first step toward becoming who you are truly meant to be. We know what we are, but know not what we may be, Shakespeare wrote. This is the essence of self-awareness. It is the realization that you are a work in progress. But to make progress, you must first recognize where you stand, what you're working with, and where you want to go. Self-awareness is the key that unlocks all of life's doors. When you truly know yourself, when you understand your own needs and desires, you become equipped to make decisions that are aligned with your purpose. You stop living based on the opinions of others, and you start living based on your own inner truth. Don't be satisfied with stories how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth, Rumi also said. Too many of us spend our lives looking to others, seeking validation, following trends, or adopting someone else's version of success. But when you cultivate self-awareness, you begin to trust your own voice. You stop chasing someone else's dreams and start building your own. The road to self-awareness often requires us to ask the tough questions, the ones we've been avoiding, the ones that make us uncomfortable. The unexamined life is not worth living, Socrates famously said. But how many of us live lives of unexamined habits, unchallenged beliefs, and unacknowledged fears? We go through the motions, repeating the same patterns, hoping that we'll stumble upon happiness or fulfillment without ever stopping to look inward. But the key to living a life of meaning is found in those quiet moments of introspection. When you ask yourself the tough questions, who am I really? What do I want? What is holding me back? You begin the work of self-awareness. And it's in that work that you find the power to transform your life. Self-awareness also requires us to accept ourselves, imperfections and all. Too often we are our own harshest critics. We compare ourselves to others, hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, and forget that we too are human. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection, Buddha wisely said. But self-awareness isn't just about acknowledging our strengths. It's about embracing our flaws and imperfections as part of the whole. When we come to terms with who we are fully, honestly, we can finally release the shame and self-doubt that hold us back. Self-awareness isn't about trying to be perfect. It's about accepting ourselves as we are, while knowing that we have the power to grow and change. Self-awareness also teaches us the value of mindfulness, of being present in the moment. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the future or the past. We worry about what's coming, we regret what's gone, and in doing so, we miss the beauty of the present moment. The present moment is the only moment available to us, and it is the door to all moments, Thich Nhat Hanh said. True self-awareness happens when we are fully present with ourselves, when we stop judging, stop analyzing, and simply allow ourselves to be. It's in these moments that we connect with our true selves and gain clarity about our next steps. We stop running from the present, and instead, we embrace it as the most important moment in our lives. One of the greatest benefits of self-awareness is the power it gives you to create the life you want. When you understand who you are, what you need, and where you want to go, you stop being at the mercy of circumstances. You stop being a passive observer in your life, and instead, you take control of your destiny. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us, Ralph Waldo Emerson once wrote. Your future is not determined by your past or by external circumstances. It is determined by your inner strength, your inner vision, and your willingness to take action toward that vision. It's also important to note that self-awareness doesn't happen in isolation. It's through our relationships with others that we often come to know ourselves better. The people we interact with mirror parts of us that we might not see on our own. The way you see people is the way you see yourself, said Carl Jung. Our relationships teach us about who we are and where we still need to grow. The more we listen, the more we observe, and the more we reflect on our interactions with others, the deeper our self-awareness becomes. So, take time today to reflect. Sit quietly with yourself and ask the important questions. Who are you really? What do you want out of life? What changes do you need to make? Embrace self-awareness not as a destination, but as an ongoing journey, one that allows you to evolve, to grow, and to become the person you are meant to be. Remember that self-awareness is the foundation of all great things. It is the key to living authentically, to making meaningful choices, and to living a life filled with purpose and joy. As you deepen your understanding of yourself, you will find that the world around you begins to make sense, and the path ahead becomes clear. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, and it's the first step toward a life of fulfillment and meaning. In life, we often find ourselves caught up in the whirlwind of expectations, always rushing to meet deadlines, to please others, or to fulfill the demands placed upon us. We are so focused on the future, on the things we need to do, that we forget to appreciate the present moment. But here's a thought worth considering. The future depends on what we do in the present. This simple yet profound truth reminds us that the actions we take today shape the world we will experience tomorrow. Our lives are not a series of isolated events, but rather a continuous flow, a series of choices made moment by moment, shaping our futures with every thought, every action, every decision. It's easy to get distracted by the noise of life, the constant chatter of what needs to be done, what others expect of us, or even what we expect of ourselves. But the most important thing you can do is focus on what is right in front of you. The present moment is the only time over which we have dominion, said Thich Nhat Hanh. The present is all we truly have. The past is gone, and the future is yet to come. But in this moment, we have the power to choose, to act, and to create the future we desire. So often we are waiting for the perfect moment, thinking that we will act once we have everything figured out, or once the circumstances are just right. But that moment never comes. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. This is a call to action. You cannot wait for the stars to align before you begin your journey. The time to act is now. The time to make a change is now. The time to pursue your dreams is now. You don't need perfect conditions to take the first step. You need only the courage to move forward, even if the path ahead isn't entirely clear. The truth is, the present moment holds incredible power. It's in the present that you have the ability to create the habits, the mindset, and the actions that will shape your future. If you're waiting for the perfect moment to begin, you're missing the beauty of now. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. It's in those small, consistent actions that you begin to build the life you desire. Every step you take, no matter how small, is one step closer to the life you want to live. But focusing on the present doesn't mean ignoring the future. It means realizing that the present is the foundation upon which your future is built. What you do today can improve all your tomorrows. The choices you make now are the seeds of your future. So ask yourself, what do I want to see in my future? And more importantly, what can I do today to make that future a reality? Remember, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. The present is always changing, always unfolding, and it's up to you to embrace it, to adapt to it, and to use it to your advantage. Each moment offers a new opportunity to learn, to grow, and to make progress. If you are constantly looking ahead or dwelling on the past, you will miss the precious moments that are unfolding right before you. Life is what happens while you are busy making other plans. Make sure that in your pursuit of success, you don't miss the beauty of the journey itself. The present is where life happens. Make it count. So today, focus on the now. Take action. Choose to live in the present moment, because it's in the present that your future begins. Each day is a new opportunity to shape your life, to make progress toward your goals, and to live with intention. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Don't wait for the perfect moment to begin. The perfect moment is now.